welcome to another episode of Teaching with Inquiry Live. Tonight, I am coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. I am down here tonight for the Teachers Pay Teachers Conference, which I am super excited about. And it is one of the reasons why tonight's episode is all about taking risks and putting yourself in a position where you can challenge all of those fears and anxieties that you might have as a teacher and push yourself to do something that you might not feel 100% confident in doing. But if you know you just push through that little bit of anxiety, baby step by baby step, you can totally do it and accomplish amazing things and learn a lot about yourself as a teacher. So tonight I'm going to be talking about how you can push yourself through and take those risks and try something new in your teaching. So if this is the first time you're catching Teaching with Inquiry Live, my name is Patty. I am the teacher blogger behind madlylearning.com, and I come to you live every week on Mondays at 9 to talk about how Teaching with Inquiry has transformed my classroom and to give you ideas about how to fit it all together so that you can make using inquiry in your classroom fun and accessible for you and your students. So again, tonight we're talking about taking risks. And what inspired this conversation tonight is the fact that coming down to a conference and being surrounded by thousands of other teachers, for me, causes overwhelm. There are so many people. There's people that I follow on social media that I see in real life, and it's really exciting and it's nerve-wracking. And I plan out how I am going to be able to meet these people and network them and make connections, and putting myself in a spot where I may not feel 100% confident or comfortable with that. And then knowing that by pushing myself through that I can overcome those things. It's also been something that has transformed myself as a teacher in taking risks and putting myself into that idea. If I try something new, it might be a little bit uncomfortable at first, but the rewards at the end are amazing. So I know for a lot of teachers, trying to use inquiry or trying something new other than a traditional approach in their classroom is often overwhelming and can sometimes be scary and cause a little bit of anxiety. I know so many teachers that have said they thought of doing inquiry in the classroom and letting go of that control give them those heart palpitations and makes them extremely nervous. But we can do it. So I have 4 challenges for you to push yourself into that uncomfortable situation where you can try something new in your classroom. So it all starts with looking at what in the past, so go back to your teaching career, go back through specifically maybe last year, the last year or two. What are some of the things that you have said, oh, I can't do that? Or it's the things that might be holding you back, or the things that cause that panic and anxiety. What are those things that you just, they look really great on Pinterest, but oh, I could never do that. My students could never do that. That's the area that you should consider pushing yourself towards trying something new. So there's 4 things that you can do. Let's think about trying something new. So coming now, instead of thinking about the past, think about what teaching is going to look like for you this coming school year. So once you're done your vacation and summer is over, what is this coming school year going to look for you? How are you going to make it different? How are you going to try something new? And how are you going to push yourself to do more amazing things than you were already doing? So think about trying something new. So one of the things you can do is that maybe it's spiraling your math curriculum. Maybe you're not even sure where to start. You don't know how exactly it's going to work out, but you need to make a dedicated effort to try something new. So pick the thing that sounds really interesting, the new thing that's coming into education, and agree with yourself that you're going to give it a try. Do a little bit of research, trying to figure out people that might already be doing it, connect with them on social media, ask them questions, reach out to them and get some support from them and try something new that way. It could be spiraling math. It could be with using inquiry in your classroom. It could be using an open learning model in your language arts, or maybe even learning how to use a new piece of technology such as Google Classroom or Google Drive with your students, or just using iPads more readily in your classroom. Push a new pedagogy. If you've got a curriculum change coming into your district, that's a great time for you to push and try something new. The next thing you can do is think about the things in teaching that might scare you. So the things that you hear other teachers are doing and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. That just seems very overwhelming and very anxiety inducing. Think about what it is that makes you uncomfortable about that and really try to unpack that. And what is it exactly that's making you uncomfortable? And try to move forward and do it anyways. Sometimes you could do that. It's often easier to do that when you are doing that in baby steps. So you're not going to tackle some big, huge task right away. So if you're looking at trying inquiry, maybe you're not going to be trying a full-blown independent inquiry study right off the hop. Maybe you're going to gradually release that responsibility to your students over maybe a 6 or 8 month time period. And you're going to do it baby steps by following, say, a structured, guided inquiry or a modeled inquiry. And then you're going to slowly release that control to your students as they and you are ready and trusting that they can handle it. Another thing, something new that scares you, it's often less scary if you do it with somebody else. So see if you have a teaching partner, somebody that teaches in the same district that you've connected with over social media, and see if you can try something new with them and make yourself accountable. So tell other people that this is what you're trying. Announce it, share it with people, because that ability and that accountability will help to keep you pushing forward. And most of the time as you're taking baby steps, it's really scary at first, but once you get into it and you have the confidence that you've been given by somebody else, then it often becomes a little less daunting as you get into it and you start seeing the benefits. As teachers, the things that we try, we are not great at change. But when we get into something and we finally see that a student is learning and they're making progress, that is enough currency for us to push through and to keep going. That's the reward I'll look for. So you just have to make it far enough till you start seeing a little bit of results. And that's enough motivation for you to probably keep going. The third thing is challenge the impossible. So we always see things as teachers that just seem absolutely impossible. That whole sentiment that this is not going to work for my students. Why not look at a way to make it work for your students? You are the expert with the students that you teach. So if there is something new coming down the pipe and you think, well, that could be good, it was really awesome in their classroom, but I don't know how it's going to work for my students, then think about what exactly it is that they're doing and try to make it your own. Mix it in with your own style. Try a little bit, maybe in an easier subject, or try would be the next step. So instead of going all the way to 100%, try 10% more, and then 20% more, and then 30% more. And eventually those baby steps will move on to that. But look at your own thoughts. What is it that's happening in education right now that you think is totally impossible, or just might not sound to you like it's the best idea ever, but you've seen other people having great results? Take that opportunity to really challenge that impossible thinking that you might be holding on to, and take it one step at a time and push forward. And 4 is push past your limits. So think about what you see as your limits as a teacher and push through those and push past those. Try something new and always keep growing into something else that you could be trying. It doesn't always necessarily need to stop. So we never want our students to stop learning. We always want them to keep growing. So what is it that you think your limit is, and how can you push past it? Sometimes it might be that you may have coworkers that might be a little resistant, or you might have an administrator that might be a little resistant. Again, the best agent for change is to see progress and to see the rewards of what you're doing. And if you are the person that's going to be leading that charge within your school, quietly take that leadership role. My husband made the analogy earlier this week, I think it was actually on our drive down to Nashville, where he said, getting change to happen is like Oblek, that non-Newtonian fluid that we make with cornstarch and water. When you try to push really hard against that stuff, you're going to hit a wall. Change has to happen really slowly, and you need to slowly push against that substance. Then change will happen slowly. So if you are the person that's trying to push past the limits that might be set on you, you need to do that slowly, and you need to do that by leading the way. You can't force change to happen, but you can definitely show people an alternative way to do something. And when they see that you're having success, and when they see that you are having students that are engaged in learning, what they will find is that they want to jump on your bandwagon. So you may be alone on your bandwagon at first, but if you start seeing success and rewards, and your students are engaged and they're loving learning because of the changes that you've made in your classroom, such as things like flexible seating or using more student-centered inquiry, if you're doing those things in your classroom and nobody else in your school is, when they see that the rewards are outweighing perhaps those cons and the naysayers, you will find that certainly other people start jumping on your bandwagon, and eventually your bandwagon gets full and you have created change. There is a TED Talk about the one crazy nut. And in order to make change, it often starts with the one crazy nut. And change won't happen because you just look like you're the nutty person changing. But when you can get one other follower, it's the first follower, somebody else to go along with you, somebody else to join your bandwagon, eventually everybody else starts coming over too. And then making those changes and taking those risks becomes a whole lot easier. So we do have a short video for tonight because I am in Nashville, and I'm going to go push myself to take risks and have challenges and put myself in an uncomfortable position by walking back out of my hotel room and going and meeting people and walking up to people and saying hello to those that I haven't met in real life before, but maybe have seen them on social media and admired some of the amazing things that they have been doing in their classrooms as change leaders. So I encourage you to think about the things that have scared you in the past and what you can do to move forward and make those goals things that you can take on as a challenge that you can overcome, the risks that you can get over and you can move past and move forward. So that's all I have for tonight for you. The corresponding blog post for tonight's video will be on www.madlylearning.com. And as always, the show notes, the transcript, the YouTube video links, as well as the podcast as it gets uploaded, can all be found on the show page at www.teachingwithinquiry.com. And if you want to see all of my adventures in Nashville this week, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can see all of the things that I'm getting up to and all of the great ideas that I am being inspired to take new risks in my classroom from some of the amazing teachers that are down here with me. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next week as we continue to talk about teaching with inquiry. Thanks very much for joining me. Talk to you later. Bye.